Part 11. Super God System becomes infinitely stronger. Author, Shu Xiangzike. Chapter 101. Seeing the old man getting up, Luo Shen also got up immediately. The people around Luo Shen's seat had just heard the conversation between the two and could not help but secretly guess the identity of the old man. After all, Luo Shen, the lord of the city, was so respectful to the old man. I guess he's a big shot. Maybe he came from the imperial capital or a famous big city. The old man walked towards Chu Wei's position, and Luo Shen followed respectfully behind him. Seeing this scene, everyone at the scene stood up and looked at Chu Wei. Even the etiquette lady forgot to say deal. Good guy, this Chu Wei actually got into a fight with the city lord. This old man seems to have a rich background. Even the city lord is respectful. It seems that he doesn't like Chu Wei. Chu Wei, you have pretended in front of me so many times, this time you have hit the wall. It seems that before I can do it myself, you have to have someone clean it up first. Lin Wei in the distance was filled with the pleasure of revenge at this moment, and he said loudly, City Lord, this Chu Wei deliberately raises the price. This is simply difficult for you. Lin Wei saw Luo Shen's face darken again, and immediately felt that his assist was too good. Chu Wei depends on how you end up this time. Chu Wei, who was sitting on his seat, also stood up. The old man who was walking over was very dangerous. His keen senses had already sensed it, and Chu Wei was ready to fight. Although this old man made him feel dangerous, Chu Wei was not a vegetarian. If there was a fight, it was not certain who would die. The old man was slightly stunned when he saw Chu Wei's reaction. He obviously didn't expect Chu Wei's perception to be so sharp. He looked Chu Wei up and down, and then he nodded with satisfaction as if he were looking at goods. Chu Wei was also stunned when he saw this. The old man didn't seem to be hostile to him. The old man said, My surname is Wang, and my given name is Zheng. You can call me Mr. Wang. I wonder what your name is. Chu Wei. It turns out to be little friend Chu Wei. I want to ask, is little friend Chu Wei a formation master? Exactly. It just so happens, so do I. The old man looked at Chu Wei with even more satisfaction. The people around him were confused, even Tang Meyer next to Chu Wei. Originally, Chu Wei had snapped the old man's things, and the old man should have come to cause trouble for Chu Wei, but the current situation was completely different. Same. I also called my little friend Chu. How do you know that I am a formation carver? Chu Wei asked. The fact that he is a formation carver must not have spread in Taiyuan City yet, and even Tang Meyer doesn't know about it yet. My guess is that the greatest value of Xiangang is to stabilize the formation. Ordinary people will never spend 3 million to buy Xiangang to refine weapons, because 3 million can buy better weapon refining materials, not to mention you are paying 5 million. Yeah, Chu Wei nodded. It turned out that he made this judgment based on this and thought that Wang Jing was unpredictable. I wonder what level Chu Wei, a formation carver, has achieved now. Formation carvers, like weapon refiners, range from level 1 to level 9. Of course, if they want to be recognized by the public, array carvers also need to go to the Professional Carving Masters Union for assessment. Only after passing the assessment and rating can they determine which level they are. I haven't taken the test yet. After all, we don't have a place to take the test in Taiyuan City, but I know I'm the pinnacle of a first-order formation master. Chu Wei had almost no thought. After all, the system has said that he can carve out all first-level formations, which is of course the peak level of a first-level formation master. When Wang Jing heard this, his eyes were full of disbelief. Even though he was at the peak of the first level, he had only just reached the second level. Super God System becomes infinitely stronger. Author, Shu Xiangzike. Chapter 102. The formation engraver is the most difficult of all professions, and it is also the only profession with strong combat power. There are second-level refiners in the entire Taiyuan city, but there is not even a first-level formation engraver. The rarity of the formation engraver can be described in this way. A first-level formation engraver can be compared to a second-level refiner, which is enough to show its rarity and dignity. I wonder if Chu Wei, young friend, would mind showing it. Wang Jing looked expectant. Chu Wei didn't know what the old man was going to do, but the other party gave him the feeling of a kind old man, and was very polite. Chu Wei also had a good impression, so he said, "Okay then." Chu Wei poured spiritual energy into his hands, and then drew in front of him like a paintbrush. Soon a transparent pentagonal spiritual energy formation was carved out by Chu Wei. When Chu Wei was carving, the originally lively auction hall suddenly became very quiet, and everyone's eyes were on Chu Wei's hands. They had only heard of the means of the formation engraver before, and this time they saw it for the first time. The formation took shape, and Chu Wei shouted softly, "The spiritual sword is formed." The spiritual formation in front of Chu Wei instantly turned into several spiritual swords more than 2 meters long, and then flew over people's heads twice under Chu Wei's super control, and then Chu Wei waved his hand, and the spiritual swords disappeared. Good. Good. What a good seedling. Wang Jing's face was full of joy. You have reached the first level formation master at such a young age. I am afraid you are a genius even in the big city. Ha ha. Wang Jing's hearty laughter broke the silence of the entire auction venue. Is Chu Wei really a formation master? Someone at the scene whispered. The spiritual formation that Chu Wei made into a sword just now did not seem to be high-end at all in the eyes of everyone. After all, there was no formation master in the entire Taiyuan city, so their level could not be judged at all. Who knows? We have only heard of formation masters. Hey, do you think this old man is wrong? I heard that formation masters are rare. Chu Wei is so young, he was originally a weapon refiner, and now he is also a formation master. How can he be so powerful? When Luo Shen heard this, he shouted, "What do you know? Mr. Wang is a member of the Formation Masters Union. What he said is right, of course it is right. It's your turn to guess." Yes. Yes. The two people who spoke earlier were scared. Luo Shen, as the city lord, has a very high prestige. The whole auction hall was discussing in a low voice for a moment. Everyone's eyes would look at Chu Wei from time to time. Even the eyes of the several family patriarchs who looked at Chu Wei with some arrogance before were less arrogant. Even Wang Jing, who was respected by the city lord, thought Chu Wei was a good seedling, so they naturally didn't dare to be so arrogant anymore. How is it possible? Lin Wei, who was standing at the edge of the auction hall, couldn't believe this fact. He had just fanned the flames, thinking that this old man would deal with Chu Wei, but he didn't expect that he would admire him the next second. "Little friend Chu Wei, I originally wanted to take you as my disciple." Wang Jing, who was in the center of the crowd, spoke slowly again. When Luo Shen heard this, his eyes became anxious, and he said, "Mr. Wang, my son." Luo Shen had put in a lot of effort to get his son Luo Peng to worship Wang Jing as his master, but how come Chu Wei suddenly showed up? Wang Jing waved his hand, signaling Luo Shen to listen to him, but after watching little friend Chu Wei's performance just now, I think that since little friend Chu Wei is already a first-level peak formation engraver, then I, who has just entered the second-level formation engraver, am afraid I am not qualified to be your teacher. Luo Shen was shocked. Wang Jing actually thought that he was not qualified to be Chu Wei's teacher. Could this Chu Wei really be such a monster? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Super God system becomes infinitely stronger. Author, Shu Xiang ZK. Chapter 103. You know, there are countless people who want to worship Wang Jing as their master. He also spent a lot of money to get Wang Jing to agree to come and see if his son Wang Peng is qualified enough to become his disciple. But, I can recommend you to go to a place. The Nanshan Jurei Carving Masters Association is looking for the president. I think with my recommendation, he will accept you as a disciple. Oh my God, the Nanshan Jurei Carving Masters Association, almost everyone at the scene exclaimed. That is the largest branch of the Array Carving Masters Association except the imperial capital. Who is the president of the Nanshan Jurei Carving Masters Association? He is only one level lower than the prince. If the city lord like Luo Shen is compared to a small official, then the president of the Nanshan Jurei Carving Masters Association can manage hundreds of these small officials. Such a person is simply a behemoth for the people of Taiyuan City. Too high to reach. However, Chu Wei now has such an opportunity. Someone actually recommended Chu Wei to be a disciple. If Chu Wei is really accepted as a disciple by the president, then it is conceivable that city lords like Luo Shen will nod and bow after seeing Chu Wei in the future. I don't want to go yet. Chu Wei said lightly. His current goal is the giant sword in the forest. He doesn't want to think about other things. Besides, being a disciple is not very tempting for Chu Wei. After all, he is a person with a system. Be a disciple? It's impossible to be a disciple. There was an uproar at the scene. How could someone refuse such a good thing? Oh my God, Mr. Wang, why don't you take a look at my son? My daughter is not bad either. If it doesn't work out, I can recognize you as my godfather. Otherwise, you can change the recommended candidate. Tang Meyer, who was standing by, immediately felt sorry for Chu Wei. This little Chu is good in everything except that he is too proud. Such a good opportunity, but he doesn't cherish it at all. Wang Jing was also slightly stunned. He didn't expect that someone would refuse such a good thing, but he smiled heartily. Since Chu Wei refused, I can't force it. However, if Chu Wei changes his mind one day, you can contact me at any time. He took out his phone and left a mobile phone number for Chu Wei. However, as soon as he took out his mobile phone, his phone rang. Hello, this is Wang Jing. What? Mutant beasts attacking the city. Okay, I know, I'll be there right away. Wang Jing hung up the phone in a hurry and said to Chu Wei with a serious face, Chu Wei, I'm really sorry. There was a mutant beast attacking the city in Tianlan City. I have to rush over to strengthen the strength of the spiritual energy formation. We will meet again when we have a chance. After that, he left a phone number for Chu Wei and was about to leave. Mr. Wang, I don't know about my son. Wang Jing looked back at Luo Shen, thought for a while and said, let him learn from Chu Wei first. If Chu Wei thinks it's okay, I will accept him as my apprentice. Luo Shen was stunned. However, Wang Jing didn't give him time to answer. He saw a spiritual formation on his feet light up, and then the whole person went out like a ghostly shadow, and the speed was so fast that Chu Wei was shocked. I'm afraid even I can't be that fast. Chu Wei secretly compared Wang Jing's speed just now. Although he had 61 points of agility, no one at the same level could compare with him in terms of speed, but Wang Jing's speed just now was faster than himself. He had a spiritual formation on his feet just now. It seems that his speed is also related to the spiritual formation. Last time in the forest, Chu Wei became a formation engraver and had not studied it carefully. Chu Wei decided to go back and study the role and use of the profession of formation engraver, because the formation engraver is far more than just being able to seal and having powerful combat power. After Wang Jing left, the people's surprise began to slowly calm down, but pairs of eyes would look at Chu Wei from time to time. At this moment, everyone felt that Chu Wei's power was too great. He could go to the Nanshan Jurei Master Guild at any time, which meant that Chu Wei could become a disciple of a big shot at any time. You must build a good relationship with this kind of person as soon as possible, maybe he can take care of you with just a few words in the future. The head of one of the families came to Chu Wei. Hello, Mr. Chu, I am the head of the Zhou family. Our family is a branch of Kaiwan Private Bank. I am very happy to meet you. The Zhou family did not call Chu Wei by name, but Mr. Chu, which showed respect for Chu Wei. This Zhou Hong is really shameless. He said before that Chu Wei was just a kid of 16 or 17 years old and nothing great, but now he is fawning on him faster than anyone else. The head of another family at the scene despised Zhou Hong, the head of the Zhou family. Super God system becomes infinitely stronger. Author, Shu Xiangzike. Chapter 104. But he also moved his footsteps and came to Chu Wei. Mr. Chu, I am also very happy to meet you. I am the head of the Bai family. Our family runs an elixir shop. If you need it, please tell me and I will definitely give you a discount. No, I will give it to you. This Bai Xing is also a playboy. He previously agreed with Zhou Hong's point of view and felt that Chu Wei was nothing. Only I have long seen that this kid is extraordinary. The head of the Bai family at the scene despised the two heads who greeted Chu Wei just now. At the same time, he also moved his footsteps and came to Chu Wei. Hello, Mr. Chu, I am the head of the Bai family, Bai Feng. My family is a minor, and I warmly invite you to visit my home. Bai family, this surname is so familiar. By the way, didn't he beat a young master named Bai Jun at the school gate before? I heard that he was from the Bai family. Just as Chu Wei was reminiscing, two more heads of families came to Chu Wei and competed to greet Chu Wei. In order to greet Chu Wei first, the two heads of families almost quarreled. Tang Meyer, who was standing aside, looked at these family heads. How could she not see that these family heads were here to curry favor with Chu Wei after seeing his potential? At this moment, she secretly sighed that she was still very powerful and had long seen that Chu Wei was a treasure. At this moment, Bai Jun, Jojo, and other young masters appeared at the entrance of the auction house. These young masters had nothing to do all day long. They had heard that the auction house was lively today, so they came to take a look. As soon as they entered the auction house, they saw Lin Wei not far from the entrance. Lin Wei had asked them to get out before, so when they saw Lin Wei at this time, no one greeted him. It was obvious that they had a quarrel because of Chu Wei's matter today. Jojo, come here. Come and meet Mr. Chu. Mr. Chu will become a big man in the future. A voice shouted loudly in the distance. It was Zhou Hong, the head of the Zhou family, who greeted his son Jojo loudly after discovering that he had come. Jojo saw his father over there and immediately walked over. At the same time, a group of people also discovered the specialness of Zhou Hong's place. There seemed to be a lot of people there, and there were several layers inside and outside. So they didn't see Chu Wei and Mo Kongxiu in the middle of the crowd. Dad and the others are crowded together, and I don't know what they are talking about. Jojo is no longer surprised. His father and these uncles from other families often crowd together like this. Bai Jun, come here quickly. You must meet Mr. Chu, the future big shot. Bai Feng, the head of the Bai family, also saw his son, Bai Jun, at the door. Oh. Bai Jun walked over. Bai Fan, didn't you see that they are all here? Why are you still standing there? Come over quickly. Tongzhen, you too, are you still standing there alone? Don't you have any vision? Come over quickly to meet the big shot. Several young masters were called over by their respective parents and surrounded by Chu Wei. I don't know what big shot came to Taiyuan City. Several young masters muttered in their hearts outside the crowd. Everyone, make way, let my son come in. Zhou Hong pushed the crowd around Chu Wei aside. Son, come here. Okay. Jojo walked over, but he was stunned when he walked over. because he found that the big shot Mr. Chu that his father asked him to meet was Chu Wei, who had just had a conflict with them and knocked out several teeth of Lin Wei with a slap. How could he not be surprised? "Mr. Chu, this is my son, Jojo. You are all young people, come to my house later, I will let Jojo take you to have a good time in Taiyuan City." Zhou Hong's plan is to let Jojo and Chu Wei have some relationship, so that his son's future may be on the road to wealth because of Chu Wei. Even if not, there is no loss. Thinking that these family heads are all first-line big men in Taiyuan City, their minds are very bright. "I know your son," Chu Wei said lightly. Super God system becomes infinitely stronger. Author, Shu Xiangzike. Chapter 105. Jojo, however, had a dark face. What was going on? Why was his father so respectful to Chu Wei? Moreover, why were all the famous uncles and uncles in Taiyuan City surrounding Chu Wei? He suddenly felt that something was not good about today's events. This Chu Wei seemed to have a lot of energy. The sweat on his forehead broke out just thinking about it. "We know each other, what a great relationship. You must visit my house today, and your uncle will cook for you himself," Zhou Hong laughed. "Your son just called me a poor person at the school gate. I'm afraid that a poor person like me is not suitable for eating at your house." Chu Wei spoke calmly. Zhou Hong was stunned. What happened? His son actually called Chu Wei a poor bum. Didn't this offend Chu Wei? If Chu Wei were to worship the Union president as his disciple, wouldn't he be able to make himself lie on the ground if he did anything casually? Zhou Hong was furious at the moment. "Jojo, you are a prodigal who only knows how to idle around all day long. Why don't you come here to apologize? If you don't apologize properly, I will go home and break your legs." Jojo had seen Zhou Hongfa get so angry, and he said respectfully to Chu Wei, "Chu, young Master Chu, I was wrong, I was blind, just think what I said before was fart." "Ha," Chu Wei smiled lightly and did not say forgiveness, but there was no hatred in his heart. After all, these people just had some quarrels with him before, and he even insulted them. Seeing the embarrassment of the Zhou family, Bai Feng said happily, "Son, come here quickly and say hello to Mr. Chu Wei." Bai Jun came closer with an unnatural look on his face. "I know your son too, and he called me trash before." "What?" Bai Feng was shocked and angry. "You brat, I told you not to cause trouble outside and even provoke Mr. Chu. Go back and kneel on the keyboard for me." Bai Jun's face was dark. It was really not a good time to go out today. Chu Wei glanced at Bai Jun indifferently and didn't say much. Instead, he looked at the other two young masters who had just walked with Bai Jun. "Jojo, these two young masters don't need to be introduced. I know them too. They not only scolded, he called me trash and called me poor. I'm afraid it's hard for a piece of trash like me to be a guest of yours." As soon as Chu Wei finished speaking, the scene immediately heard the angry curses of the two masters lecturing their sons. "You good for nothing. You know how to cause trouble, and even if you do, you don't know how to look. Are you someone you can cause trouble with, Mr. Chu?" "Awesome," Tang Meyer on the side quietly gave Chu Wei a thumbs up. "Just average. Mr. Chu, please come to my house today. You have heard what Mr. Wang Jing said just now, and I hope you can teach my son Wang Peng." After meeting several masters and chatting with each other, this Taiyuan man the city lord said to Chu Wei. He is the city lord. Although he wanted to talk to Chu Wei first before, he has his own heirs and is too embarrassed to crowd in there with several big families like they are buying vegetables at the vegetable market. At the same time, Luo Shen waved his hand, "Miss Etiquette." After the etiquette lady came over, Luo Shen took out his mobile phone and directly scanned out $5 million and gave it to the other party. "I paid for the black steel that Mr. Chu took." Chu Wei was slightly startled. Other families flattered him with words, but the city lord was different. He just paid directly. For a while, Chu Wei had a very good impression of Luo Shen. Besides, Mr. Wang Jing did say before he left that he hoped he would take a look at Wang Peng. Chu Wei also had a very good impression of Mr. Wang Jing. He snatched the black steel that the old man also wanted, but the other party not only did not embarrass him, but also recommended it to the union president because he valued him. Even if Chu Wei doesn't care about this recommendation, Chu Wei knows that no matter which person or family in Taiyuan City this recommendation is given to, they will probably kneel down and thank you. Chu Wei has always been kind to anyone who treats him well, and makes life difficult for anyone who goes against him. Chu Wei said immediately, "Thank you, City Lord, but before I go to your house, I have one more thing to do." "Oh? What's the matter?" "Mr. Chu, tell me and I'll do it for you." "There aren't many things that I, Luo Shen, can't do in Taiyuan City." Chu Wei shook his head and said, "I want to do this myself." Then Chu Wei looked at Lin Wei, who was not far from the entrance of the auction house. Lin Wei was startled and immediately realized from the surprise of the previous masters taking turns fawning over Chu Wei, and his heart tightened. Chu Wei looked at Lin Wei and said calmly, "Lin Wei, Chu Wei, said that if you let me meet you again, if I am in a bad mood, I will destroy you. Do you think I, Chu Wei, am joking with you?" You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Super God system becomes infinitely stronger. Author, Xu Xiangzike. Chapter 106. Chu Wei walked towards Lin Wei step by step. Lin Wei's face was gloomy and uncertain. When he saw everyone at the scene looking at him, Lin Wei gritted his teeth and said fiercely, "Chu Wei, don't be too arrogant. I tell you, don't think you are a formation carver is amazing. My father set out for the Weapon Refiner Guild yesterday to take the exam for a third-level weapon refiner. If you dare to touch me, I will never spare you when my father comes back." Everyone in the auction house was shocked. Lin Qianyuan actually went to take the test for a third-level weapon refiner. The energy of a third-level weapon refiner is much greater than that of a second-level weapon refiner. If Lin Qianyuan passes the test, I am afraid that many people in the awakened realm will come to Lin Qianyuan to refine weapons, and Lin Qianyuan can naturally let these people who come to him to refine weapons do things for him. Then the Lin family will probably be the strongest among the forces in Taiyuan City. Of course, the assessment of the third-level weapon refiner has to go to the headquarters of the Weapon Refiner Union, so Lin Qianyuan is not in the city now. When Lin Wei saw that everyone at the scene was shocked, he couldn't help but feel proud, and said, "Chu Wei, if you kneel down and beg for mercy from me now, I will ask my father to let you go." "Ha," Chu Wei smiled faintly and said disdainfully, "even if your father Lin Qianyuan is in front of me now, I'm not afraid." After saying that, Chu Wei moved his steps and punched Lin Wei directly. No matter what happened to Lin Qianyuan, this Lin Wei came to him again and again. If he didn't destroy him, he really thought that what Chu Wei said was just for fun. "Uncle Gong, save me." Lin Wei's expression changed drastically and he shouted hurriedly. The man in his 40s or 50s next to Lin Wei immediately stood up. With a move of his hand, a shield formed by spiritual energy appeared in front of Lin Wei. The shield blocked Chu Wei's fist. Chu Wei jumped back and looked at the man from a certain distance. Under Chu Wei's keen perception, Chu Wei could feel that this man named Uncle Gong was the strongest among all the humans Chu Wei had fought so far, at least a master in the realm of superpowers. "Young man, as long as I am here, you can't touch him. Listen to my advice and admit your mistake to Lin Wei. This matter will be over like this, and no one will cause trouble to anyone else in the future," Uncle Gong said calmly. Just like if he wanted to deal with Chu Wei in front of him, it was just a matter of raising his hand. "No. Uncle Gong, I must make him kneel down, kowtow and admit his mistake." Lin Wei had a ferocious look on his face. In his heart, Chu Wei first made him lose face in the Chamber of Commerce Square, and today he robbed his woman, and then knocked out 2 of his teeth. How could he let Chu Wei go so easily? He must make Chu Wei suffer a bad death. Uncle Gong frowned and secretly thought that Lin Wei was ignorant. It was true that Lin Qianyuan had become a third-level weapon refiner, but didn't he see that the city lord Luo Shen was on Chu Wei's side? No matter how powerful your father is, he hasn't come back yet, right? Chu Wei smiled coldly and said, even if Lin Wei kneels down and begs me this time, I will destroy you. Uncle Gong's eyes turned cold. Did this young man really think that he had become the disciple of the president of the Nanjing Formation Masters Union? Doesn't he know that he has not become the president's disciple yet? Even if he were to be killed now, would the union president still avenge him, a stranger? How arrogant, Uncle Gong said coldly. If Luo Shen hadn't been next to Chu Wei, he would have taken action against Chu Wei long ago. He came here with Lin Wei today just because he knew Chu Wei was here, so he came to take a look. He used to check his opponents before killing. Super God system becomes infinitely stronger. Author, Shu Xiangzike. Chapter 107. Humph, Chu Wei snorted coldly, I will give you a piece of advice. If you stop blocking me again, I, Chu Wei, will destroy you too. You're such a crazy boy, just let me meet you. As soon as Uncle Gong moved, Luo Shen next to Chu Wei was about to take action. He, Luo Shen, relied on Chu Wei to teach his son, so of course he would not stand idly by. Chu Wei stretched out his hand to block Luo Shen, thank you City Master Luo, I, Chu Wei, can still deal with this kind of person. Luo Shen was a little worried. Although Chu Wei was a first-level formation master and had his own methods, the methods of the formation master also required his own spiritual energy level to exert his combat power. If Chu Wei's spiritual energy realm did not reach the realm of a superpower, then it is impossible for him to beat Uncle Gong. After all, Uncle Gong is considered a relatively famous first-line boss in Taiyuan City. However, Luo Shen still retreated, thinking that if Chu Wei couldn't defeat him later, he would try to save others. Come on, kid. I also want to see the methods of the formation carver. Uncle Gong sneered, but let me tell you, you'd better be faster when carving the spiritual energy formation, otherwise you might not even know how to write the word death. Although the formation carving master has the reputation of being one level above the same level in combat power, he has a weakness. When using spiritual energy to carve formations, a certain amount of prelude time is required. Chu Wei said coldly, who said I would use the skills of a formation carver? My fists are enough to beat you away. Chu Wei moved his steps and punched Uncle Gong directly. This time, Chu Wei's fist had no reservations, and the strongest physical power in the current realm was blasted away. Uncle Gong's eyes moved slightly, his body swayed, and he disappeared directly. I didn't expect that your spiritual energy level 9 could reach the limit of your physical strength. It seems I have underestimated you. Chu Wei looked at Uncle Gong, who appeared in another direction. He was very fast just now, but this Uncle Gong actually disappeared. Is it his supernatural ability? But even if your physical strength reaches the current limit, it will be useless. I am a person with wind powers, and my speed is as fast as the wind. How can you hit me? Wind blade. 2 blades formed by the wind shot out from Uncle Gong's hand like daggers, pointing directly at Chu Wei's chest. The speed was very fast, and it reached Chu Wei's chest in the blink of an eye. Humph, Chu Wei snorted coldly, red electricity. Chu Wei waved the red electricity with his right hand, and the 2 wind blades were directly electrocuted and dissipated. Uncle Gong frowned, looked at the red electricity in Chu Wei's hand and said, no wonder you are so confident, it turns out you are a person born with superpowers. Although there was only a brief collision of powers just now, Uncle Gong could feel that Chu Wei's red lightning power was more powerful than his own wind blade. Hey, have you seen it? This Chu Wei is actually a person with natural powers. Yes, I saw it. Oh my god, what kind of evildoer is this Chu Wei? He has reached the second level peak of weapon refining skills, the first level peak of formation carving skills, and now he is a natural superpower. It's amazing. That's right. If Chu Wei is given a few more years, I'm afraid no one in Taiyuan City will be his opponent. Listening to the voices of the crowd around him, murderous intent appeared in Uncle Gong's eyes. He had to admit that this Chu Wei was too outstanding. It would be terrible for such an outstanding young man to grow up. Anyway, now that the hatred has been settled, it is better to kill him now to avoid future troubles. Uncle Gong's eyes were fierce, and he moved his hands, and saw wind blades appearing in front of him one after another, like countless flying knives. Super God System becomes infinitely stronger. Author, Xu Xiangzike. Chapter 108. Can't hit you. Chu Wei frowned slightly. Wind cannon. This time, Uncle Gong used his superpower to form a cannonball, which directly bombarded Chu Wei's head. Chu Wei snorted coldly again, and hit the wind cannon directly with red electricity. The power of red electricity was much greater than the power of the opponent's wind power. Puff! Puff! The wind cannon was disintegrated by red electricity. At this moment, Uncle Gong's body suddenly flashed to Chu Wei's left side, less than half a meter away, and he held a wind blade and cut directly towards Chu Wei's throat. Boy, you've been fooled. He just used the wind cannon to attack just to hold back Chu Wei's red lightning power, and then give himself a chance to sneak up on him at close range. Uncle Gong's eyes were filled with bloodthirsty light, and he seemed to see that Chu Wei's neck had been cut open by his wind blade, and sizzling blood came out. You are so naive. At the same time as Chu Wei's cold voice sounded, Chu Wei's left hand, which was condensed with a vortex at the moment, was sucked directly at Uncle Gong next to him, sucked the forbidden hand. Uncle Gong's originally extremely fast body was actually imprisoned at this moment, unable to move. At this moment, to outsiders, it looked like Chu Wei was holding Uncle Gong in the air with one hand. At the same time, the people around him also felt a strong suction force dragging them in the direction of Chu Wei, and their clothes were lifted up by the suction force. The jewelry and necklaces worn by some people were directly sucked over and fixed in front of Chu Wei. Red lightning. Chu Wei moved his right hand, and the red lightning directly struck the imprisoned Uncle Gong on his left hand. Ah! A scream sounded, and then Chu Wei pushed with his left hand, and the body of Uncle Gong, which was electrocuted into coke, was thrown directly in front of Lin Wei by Chu Wei. This Uncle Gong killed himself when he was fighting with him. Chu Wei couldn't let him go. Lin Wei's eyes were in disbelief and he quickly took 2 steps back. You actually killed Uncle Gong. Uncle Gong is actually dead. How could Uncle Gong be killed by you? Lin Wei looked like he had lost his soul. More than just killing him, I said, I want to destroy you, then I will destroy you. Chu Wei moved his steps, came to Lin Wei, and then hit Lin Wei's abdomen with a palm. A burst of spiritual energy directly dispersed the spiritual energy in Lin Wei's body. At the same time, Lin Wei's whole body's meridians were also shattered. When it comes to spiritual cultivation and weapon refining, I'm afraid I have to use a wheelchair to walk. Ah! Lin Wei howled miserably and fainted from the pain. The once famous weapon refining genius of Taiyuan City became a useless person. From then on, when people mentioned him again, they would only say that he was a useless person, or that he was useless because of the monster Chu Wei. For a time, the entire auction house didn't even dare to show its atmosphere. Chu Wei's combat power was so strong that even though he was at level 9, he could kill Uncle Gong, who was a top-tier superpower. The heads of the Zhou family, Bai family, looked at each other. Their combat prowess was on par with Uncle Gong's. Since Chu Wei could kill Uncle Gong, it meant that Chu Wei could also kill them. At this moment, they felt pressure on Chu Wei, which was a kind of pressure when facing a strong person. They respected Chu Wei before because of Chu Wei's future potential. However, the pressure now is because Chu Wei has surpassed them. My dear, Chu, is Mr. Chu so powerful? Jojo's eyes widened as he looked at Uncle Gong's body and spoke subconsciously. The heads of the nearby families, including several young masters, immediately looked at Jojo and said, "Shut up." They had offended Chu Wei before, so it was best not to talk now. Who knows if Chu Wei would be in a bad mood and burn them too. Jojo looked innocent. However, he looked at Chu Wei's back and sighed, "This is a very awesome existence without having to pretend." The auction has ended long ago, and Chu Wei no longer goes to see Lin Wei. If the Lin family doesn't come to him again, he won't mention it again. But if the Lin family wants to cause trouble for him, Chu Wei doesn't mind giving the Lin family another chance. Surprise! Then Chu Wei left with Tang Meyer and Luo Shen in the eyes of everyone. Before leaving, the Tianshui mercenary group sent over the 5 1-meter black steel, and also gave Chu Wei some other materials. After all, this time Chu Wei bought the black steel for 5 million, and the price was too high. It was a loss, so the Tianshui mercenary group made some compensation. After taking the things, Chu Wei headed directly towards the city lord's mansion at Luo Shen's invitation. City lord's mansion. Just as he entered the gate of the mansion, a man in his 20s came over, with a spirit pistol on his waist and dressed very neatly. He was Luo Shen's son, Luo Peng. "Dad, you are back." "Mr. Wang. Mr. Wang needs to leave first." Luo Peng was slightly stunned. "Did Mr. Wang agree to accept me as his apprentice?" You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Super God system becomes infinitely stronger. Author, Xu Xiang ZK. Chapter 109. Not yet. Hey, Luo Peng's face was full of disappointment. He had long heard that Mr. Wang was very strict in recruiting apprentices, and many of them were rejected. Although I had already prepared for the possibility of being rejected, when it actually happened, I still couldn't help but feel disappointed. But Mr. Wang didn't refuse. Hope immediately appeared on Luo Peng's face. Then I still have a chance. Luo Peng thought wholeheartedly that if he followed Mr. Wang and became a formation master, he might be able to get out of this small Taiyuan city and go see the big world outside. I heard that the outside world has many inheritances and treasures left by extremely powerful people. After obtaining these treasures, many people became the supreme power and reached the pinnacle of life. There is an opportunity, it depends on whether you can seize it or not. By the way, you come and see Mr. Chu first. Luo Shen pointed at Chu Wei respectfully. Luo Peng had seen Chu Wei before and thought he was a student from a certain school. He did not expect his father to respect him so much. "Hello Mr. Chu, welcome to our Luo family." Chu Wei glanced at Luo Peng. This Luo Peng was not bad. Although he was the son of the city lord, he was not like those young masters who looked great and always thought he could fly. Mr. Wang said that during this period, Mr. Chu will teach you how to become a formation master. If Mr. Chu thinks you can do it, then Mr. Wang will accept you as his apprentice. What? Luo Peng didn't expect that a 16 or 17-year-old student would actually teach him the skills of a formation carver. He is so young, is he also a formation master? Is he okay? Dad, can he do it? Luo Peng murmured in a low voice. It wasn't that he looked down on Chu Wei, it was just that the man in front of him was younger than him, and he was somewhat dissatisfied. Luo Shen's expression changed. How presumptuous! Why are you talking to Mr. Chu? Chu Wei didn't speak, but his hands had begun to condense spiritual energy. The spiritual energy turned into a formation, and then turned into a long sword. Chu Wei used his sword to draw a line on the ground, and a gap several meters long immediately appeared in front of Chu Wei. "Do you think I can do it now?" Chu Wei said lightly. Luo Peng's expression had changed. He stared blankly at the several meter long chasm in front of him. You must know that the ground of his house was made of alloy steel, and ordinary artillery shells could not explode. Unexpectedly, Chu Wei lightly scratched "There is a gap." And he knew Chu Wei's method just now. It was the method of a formation carver, who drew the formation with spiritual energy and then turned it into a sword. Luo Peng no longer felt dissatisfied, and immediately said, "Master, please accept my bow." Chu Wei quickly raised his hand and said, "Don't worship me. I'm just helping Mr. Wang teach you. Mr. Wang will accept you as his apprentice. Although the other party is the son of the city lord, but a 20-year-old young man kneels down and worships him as his master, it is really too much for him. After all, he is only a high school student. It's all okay. It's all okay. Then I'll call you Brother Chu." Chu Wei had no choice but to do this. He couldn't let him call him little brother. Ding. The host becomes a mentor and will be rewarded with a spiritual energy value of 1 million. The current spiritual energy value is 3 million/4 million. I'm going to teach someone to reward so many spiritual energy points. Chu Wei thought for a while, whether he should teach a few more people after returning to school. Maybe he can enter the realm of a superpower soon. But then Chu Wei shook his head. The passive rewards of this system all depend on the system's mood. It's better not to do these things deliberately. Just let it happen. "Mr. Chu, please come in. We will have dinner here today. We have specially invited the most famous chef in Taiyuan City for you. And the wine that I have treasured for many years." Super God System becomes infinitely stronger. Author, Xu Xiangzike. Chapter 110. Wang Peng also said, "Brother Chu, there are also cakes. Whatever you want to eat, we have everything. If you want to eat something swimming in the water, I'll catch it. If you want to eat something flying in the sky and water, I'll go and kill it." Chu Wei was stunned. Now he has experienced what it means to be noble. The feeling of being noble is that you just make a request, and then someone will naturally do it for you. When they came out of the city lord's mansion, it was already evening. Wang Peng sent Chu Wei directly to the school gate before leaving. When they had dinner at the city lord's mansion, Chu Wei had already taught Wang Peng some basic knowledge of engraving arrays, and Wang Peng nodded repeatedly. Originally, he thought Chu Wei was only a medium-level first-level refiner, but after listening, he learned that Chu Wei was actually a first-level peak refiner, and he respected Chu Wei even more. And when they were eating, Luo Shen also told him how Chu Wei had electrocuted Uncle Gong. Luo Peng was stunned after hearing it. This is a big shot. From then on, when he saw Chu Wei, he looked at him with admiration. After returning to school, Chu Wei did not go back to the dormitory, but went to the school's silent room. "This afternoon, I was busy teaching Wang Peng, and I still have many questions that I haven't thought about." After Chu Wei saw Wang Jing use the aura array to speed up at the auction house, Chu Wei was thinking about how to use the aura array to increase his combat power on the way back. Chu Wei calculated that he is now at the 9th level of aura. If he uses the array battle method of the array carving master, he can probably fight against the realm of the superpower. Of course, this is the premise that Chu Wei does not use various means such as half-dragons, power armor, and physical limits. In other words, the combat power of the array carving master is indeed higher than that of ordinary spiritual practitioners at the same level. However, Chu Wei now has a problem. This problem is that if he uses a half-dragon or a power armor, he cannot carve the array and use the array to attack. If you use the array to attack, you can't play the power of the half-dragon or the power armor. It's like you have two weapons, but when fighting, you can only take one. If you look at it this way, then the profession of the engraver does not add much to his combat power. You should know that Chu Wei's power armor is not only one level higher than the same level, but can also fight across several small realms. If the half-dragon state is activated, the combat power will be doubled. In other words, after Chu Wei activates the half-dragon, power armor, and superpowers, Chu Wei feels that he can fight with most people in the superpower realm, including from superpower level 1 to level 7. However, with only the engraver's engraving attack, Chu Wei can only fight with people in the superpower level 1 at most, so this engraver's stuff is almost useless to Chu Wei. If I want the formation of the Formation Master to improve my combat power, then I must make the formation improve my other means. For example, the first level of the Strength armor is a 2x strength bonus, the second level is to multiply it by 2 on the original basis, and the half-dragon is multiplied by 2 again. The improvement in between is multiplication, not as simple as 2x plus 2x, but 2x multiplied by 2x, then multiplied by 2x, then multiplied by 2x, that is dozens of times. It is this kind of improvement that makes Chu Wei's combat power particularly terrifying. However, the formation of the Formation Master and his own Strength armor are calculated by addition, which is basically useless. If you want the attack of the formation to improve your combat power, then you have to find a way to make it a multiple bonus, that is, to integrate the formation into the armor. Chu Wei's eyes suddenly lit up. That's it, if it can be integrated, it is equivalent to the fusion of two weapons, and the power must be even higher. Chu Wei did it as he thought, and spent a whole night in experiments. Until the next morning. Still next to the dark cave in the back mountain of the school. Chu Wei moved his body, and a layer of red dragon scales appeared on his body, and the half-dragon state was activated.